Today we're going to be discussing the best Monarch method in Anime Vanguards Update 6.5, and this is actually a continuation of a video that I already posted several months ago in Anime Vanguards Update 4.5, so without further ado, let's get this video started. By the way, before we continue, our original goal is to get to 100k subscribers here in AB Play's channel, and by subscribing before we get to 100k subs, you can officially claim to be an OG subscriber of AB Plays. So if you find this video helpful and maybe entertaining, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, and let's get started. So just a little bit of a fast forward, going back in time, I guess. I made this video right here 2 months ago in March 29, 2025, so roughly almost actually 3 months ago. And it's titled The Best Monarch Method in Anime Vanguards Update 4.5, where I talked about the Monarch Pity, I talked about which units you should be rerolling on, and basically the basis and summarization of this video is that you should always be rerolling on either top tier units or Vanguard units. And since there's a new Vanguard that released in Anime Vanguards Update 6.5, it is best to make another video on this because yes, it is absolutely worth it to spend your rerolls on Kaguya because she is a Vanguard unit and she is absolutely broken. But honestly, not just Kaguya, there are actually several units that we're gonna talk about that is also worth spending your rerolls on. Essentially, the entire premise on why you should spend it on Vanguards is because these Vanguard units are oftentimes when they release the strongest of the strongest. Like for example, Kaguya right now being able to reach like 100,000 DPS. Like in my previous video, you saw she reached around 80,000 DPS. Now, it's not permanent 80k, like it does drop to 40k sometimes, but it's very insane how much DPS Kaguya can do. And if you take a look at units like Gogeta, you know, Gogeta still has that insanely high DPS. And as a matter of fact, Gogeta is even more relevant right now because Kaguya can buff Gogeta by 90%, which right now I believe Gogeta can get up to around 200,000 DPS, which is absolutely crazy. So if you invested rerolls on both of these units and got Monarch on them, they're still pretty relevant today. A lot of people spend rerolls or spend their rerolls like this. They're gonna spend it on one unit, and then they're gonna spend it on another unit, and then they're gonna spend it on another unit, and then they're gonna spend it on this unit right here. And then by doing that, it creates a cycle of you basically just wasting your rerolls and never getting a single Monarch on any unit. As a matter of fact, last year, when Anime Vanguard released, I was a pay-to-win player, buying every single bundle that I could, buying as much rerolls that I could, and I only got one reroll from that, which is Gojo Infinity, and it is precisely because I kept rerolling on as many units as I could possibly reroll in, and I always stopped at Deadeye, or if I got Ethereal, I'd stop at Ethereal. I was too afraid to gamble for Monarch. And for the entirety of me playing Anime Vanguards last year, I only just got one Monarch, and right now, using this method, I already have all these Monarchs right here, and I'm pretty much completely free to play. Not really completely, I buy the battle pass and the bundles here and there, but this is what I have, almost pretty much completely free to play. I got more Monarchs than I did last year when I was spending money. And it mainly just boils down to me playing the game a lot more often and farming for rerolls, which obviously you should. I'm gonna make another video about that actually. But also it's about me spending my rerolls much wiser. I kept spending my rerolls on Gogeta, and at one point I actually got Ethereal on Gogeta. So I had to spend, I think, a few more rerolls, 3 more rerolls, and got Monarch. And then I kept spending on units like Roku as well, and I got a Monarch on him. Kept spending on units like Smith John or Sid, and I got Monarch on him. And yeah, now my Monarch collection has grown absolutely. So before I end this video, I'm actually going to divide it into a few parts, which is just going to help you guys out a lot in my opinion. Part 1. Before you reroll, it is very important that you read the passives and do some research about the unit that you're rerolling on, because if it's a unit that's bad with Monarch, like Rimuru or Ragna for example, you're pretty much cooked and you just wasted a bunch of rerolls. Or if that unit is pretty mediocre, then again, you just wasted a bunch of rerolls. You should never be rerolling blindly because that unit could be terrible and you could have just wasted a bunch of rerolls on that unit. So you should always read the passives and do your own research either on the Discord, on YouTube, or maybe even in the wiki or in online tier lists that you can find. And this is the best way that you can essentially dictate which units are worth rerolling on. It's also best that if a unit is just newly released, that you wait at least a few days before rerolling on those units, because only then after a few days do we truly realize which units are actually really good. Number 2, once you have dictated which units are absolutely insane and that you want to go for, then you're just going to spend all in on that single unit. You're not going to spend it on other copies. If you get an ethereal, you're not going to spend it on another copy of that unit to, save that ethereal, because the pity only applies for a single unit, which means if you reroll on this copy of Gogeta, you're gonna have to keep rerolling on this specific copy until 2,500 for pity to apply, right? So that's essentially how the pity system works. 2,500 is a per unit basis. Your pity on Gogeta is not the same pity on Smith John. So if you want to make use of the pity, you're gonna have to keep going on that unit. It's either Monarch or nothing, pretty much. And you're just gonna keep on spending your rerolls as much as you possibly can, and then when you finally get Monarch, it's pretty much done. And obviously, the last part that I'm gonna give you is the rerolling grind, because the best way to get Monarch is obviously still grinding for rerolls as much as you can. You can get a really good amount of rerolls by completely free to play, by just farming challenges, bounties, boss events, world lines. You could completely, get like 200, 500, thousands even if you consistently grind that. And that's actually what I did to get Kaguya Monarch. I just grinded quite a bit of rerolls and then became successful and got her. So before I end this video, I usually make a video on which units are best to reroll on, but since they don't really do that well, because I think a lot of people already know which units are best to reroll on, or a lot of people just reroll on units that they want to reroll on, I'm going to include that part in this video right here. If you want to know which units are best to reroll on, it's going to be the following. Right now, Kaguya, if you get Kaguya. Number 2, Yuhaba, if you get Yuhaba. Number 3, Sungjinwoo Vanguard. Monarch, if you get Sungjinwoo if you don't have it yet. And number 4 would probably be Aizen. And the reason why I'm saying Aizen is because if you want to get MVP, which most of the time you do, getting Monarch on Aizen is really important, because you cannot lose, you cannot steal MVP from Aizen unless you have another Monarch Aizen. So yeah, number 5 would probably be some other meta units. A lot of people are saying Smith John is a good option. For me, it's going to be Gogeta, because Gogeta, so for some reason, keeps getting buffs. What I mean by that is, like, in update 6.5, since he's a blast unit, he literally got a 90% buff from Kaguya, which is crazy. So that's my list. If you want to have a which units are best to reroll on list from me, it's Kaguya, Yuaba, Sungjinwoo, Aizen, and Gogeta, or Smith John, or maybe even Goku. Those are my list right now. And if you apply the tips I've given you in this video and really just go all in on these units, you are going to get Monarch on them eventually. And even after like several months, I do believe they're still going to be relevant, especially Kaguya, because she's much newer. Oh, and yeah, before I end this video, a lot of people are saying in my previous video, what if these units get outdated? Yuaba has been in the game for about 4 months now, because he was released in February 25, and he's still meta. He's still literally top meta. Same for Aizen, same for Sungjinwoo in Vanguard, same for Gogeta as a matter of fact. So yeah, there goes living proof that these units don't get power crept as easily.